My husband wanted to divorce me because I got a tattoo.
Go get another one.
I, 50 female, got my first and only tattoo a week and a half ago. And my husband, 50 male, is furious. He says if I don't get it removed immediately, he is done with me. By the way, this comes from Wacky Camp, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. Some background. We've been together for 27 years, married for 24, and have 2 children in their 20s. My mother passed away 3 years ago in the home we shared with my parents. We bought the house together, half and half, so that I could take care of them, but the house is in my name, which is relevant later. A few years before my mother passed away, she was hospitalized with brain surgery. I basically lived at the hospital with her during that time, witnessing more suffering than I can describe. During that time, I was pretty much on my own. I was my mom's advocate in the hospital, the one who explained everything to the rest of the family, and a conduit and translator to my mom's family abroad. And I was still doing my work from the window seat of my mom's room. My husband did not visit me there, not to bring me food or company or comfort. When I was finally home and could release the grief and horror I'd been feeling all that time, my husband was shocked and actually cried with me. He said he never wanted to hear cries like those from me again. I let him know later on how much I had wanted his support during that time and how I felt pretty abandoned. He said he would do better. 2 years later, my dad was the one undergoing a brutal surgery at 84 with physical and mental complications afterwards, and it was the same story. I was again on my own. When my mother did pass away the following year, my husband cried with me and volunteered to call the funeral home for me. But 2 days later, when I said I was sad, he asked why.
Huh? Why are you sad about that?
Let's take a wild guess. Let's take a wild guess why OP could be sad.
You got this one, buddy.
Confused, I reminded him my mom had just passed. He said, but it wasn't your fault. I honestly still don't know what that had to do with anything. Since that time, he seems to think I'm not still affected by the loss of my mother, largely because I just carry on and don't give in to the grief I'm carrying, according to him, like a human is supposed to do. So back to the present, I've been talking for a couple of years about getting a tattoo of my mom's writing from a letter she wrote me when I was a teenager. It's a few loving words in her language, and I loved the idea of having those engraved on me like a sort of talisman. In the last few years, my daughter and I had also talked about getting matching tattoos with each other, but I had delayed. My daughter actually has a tattoo of part of my mom's message to me. My husband has heard us talk about these things. I guess he thought I wouldn't follow through. When I made the appointment, he said, no, not to do it. He said in what sounded like a joking tone to me, that's my skin. No, it's not. No, it's my skin. It's on my body. It's my skin. You're not taking it. That sounds like something a serial unaliver would say.
Second thing that sounds like one would say. The first one being, well, you didn't do it. Why do you feel bad that she's passed?
So true. But he followed up saying that tattoos are gross. This was a surprise since his sisters, his daughter, and his son all have several, and he's talked about getting them in the past. Hypocrite. He just wants to control you.
He's talked about having them before, too.
Pretty insane. I didn't really take it seriously. The day before my appointment, he told me to cancel it. I explained that this meant a lot to me since it was the anniversary of her passing, and I was missing her. The morning of, he had tears in his eyes and said, "This is gonna mess me up. I don't like tattoos." But then he went on to say that my mom didn't really deserve to be honored this way and made a couple of unkind comments about her. So I'll admit, I basically stopped listening. So I had it done. And I think it's beautiful. In what I hoped would be a compromise, I didn't put it where I'd originally planned. I put it on my upper inside arm where it would be more discreet. Looking at her words reminds me that someone did love me totally unconditionally, and it helps when I'm missing her or feeling down like I have been this week. Because my husband quit talking to me or anyone else in the house. Wow, 27 years of marriage.
Over a tribute tattoo.
Yeah. He locks himself in his room all day and night. We sleep separately because of snoring, moved his things to another bathroom and his clothes to that closet instead of our shared closet. He emerges only to go to work or to make his own food after we've all gone to bed. Right before his voluntary solitary confinement, he told me we were done, that he could never be attracted to me again. What a, you're insane. You're crazy. She's got some
words
words
for this.
on the inside of her arm, and you can't be attracted to her again?
And all your kids have them, and you debated getting one.
You literally have never loved her if that's the case. And that he would move out if I gave him half the value of the house. Only half the value is ours, since the other half is really my dad's. So basically, he wants to take my half of our half. I know he says it to be mean, and it works, and I'm not proud of some of the things I said to him in response. So I've been miserable this whole time, and what was a special thing for me and my mom has been overshadowed by this. Further, our wedding anniversary passed without acknowledgement, of course. Tonight, he emerged to tell me I didn't need to cry. There's nothing to cry about. That all I have to do is to get it removed immediately. I know what we can remove immediately. You, dude. You suck.
I genuinely have no words for this.
Yeah.
This guy is insane.
27 years of marriage.
And
Down the drain.
they talked about this for a while leading up. His daughter was going to get matching ones with the wife. He never once expressed his views. Even if he did, they're not valid. It's her opinion. It's her choice to get that.
Yeah.
Saying it's my skin is wild.
Insane. One, I can't do that while it's healing. And two, seriously, I have to burn it off with a laser to save my marriage. Once again, I've been told I'll never be attracted to him with it, that he's the one who had to look at it, that he hates tattoos on women. Again, this is a new development, and I'm basically awful because he begged me not to do it. But I've begged him for years to stop drinking because it was hurting our family, and stop some other things, and those were apparently not important, and it's not the same. According to him, a tattoo on my inner arm is not what he married. And I knew he was a heavy drinker from the start. I didn't. It took me years to understand that. I think we need to divorce pretty imminently, because it seems like you also have obviously other problems in your marriage already.
Yeah, some of that sounds like it could be heavy.
I told him even if I wanted to take it off, it would be a long time before I could, since it hasn't even healed yet. And he noted I'd be unattractive to him the whole time. I suggested seeing how he feels over time while it's healing, and suggested he schedule us for counseling. We do actually need this. He made it clear he will never change his mind, and that the odds are he's not going to make an effort to make us a counseling appointment. I guess I feel I was really his person, someone he loved for real. He wouldn't be ready to throw me away over a small, simple tattoo. And he tried to understand my feelings. He insists he has loved me deeply, and that I'm the one drawing the line in the sand and throwing him away. He said he'd posted this on Reddit. Everyone thought I was awful. Then laughed a little and said, "No, you didn't post." I said, "Okay, let's post it." He thinks I'd represented all wrong to make myself look good, but I don't think I have. At least here I could spell out my feelings and not have them dismissed. Am I really the bad partner here? I am interested because obviously this is biased because you wrote it, and it's biased towards, your own opinion. So if he knows about this, I'm interested. I want to he should post his side of the story if he thinks that people would take his side.
Yeah, I want to know what he could possibly have to say that he thinks that people will be like, "Oh my God, yeah, he was totally right."
He's like, you guys don't understand. You don't understand. I don't want her to have a tattoo because I think she'll look ugly.
Yeah, that wouldn't help your point, dude.
Comments. Wow, you buried the lead here. Your husband offered you basically zero support during your mom's illness and passing and your dad's surgery, and then didn't understand why you were grieving for a normal length of time. What the F? The only thing surprising about such a self-centered loser wanting to divorce you over a tattoo is that you didn't beat him to the... Please find some self-respect and divorce him for giving you such a stupid ultimatum, and for all the other ways he hasn't been there for you. You deserve so much better than to be basically alone and unsupported by the man who's supposed to be there for you, for better or for worse. And a reply says, agreed. And this type of loser man that doesn't really want a divorce, he wants to stay and be mean and harmful to her, and he manipulates her with these empty threats. He thinks she'll never grow a spine and leave. I bet he's overweight and a gross too, being that he's a long-time heavy drinker. And I bet she's way better looking than him since she isn't. He probably hasn't aged well and hates himself. Comment 2 says, girl, I didn't even get to the tattoo part because I was hung up on why you didn't dump him when he utterly abandoned you in your darkest times. He is no loss. And that's the end of that story.
Oh my God, that's it?
Dang, man. Wow. Yeah, divorce him, girl. Divorce him.
Get out of there.
As soon as possible, because he doesn't support you. He's being controlling. And those are huge red flags and definitely going to get worse. And it seems like that has been a problem for a long time.
Divorce him, and the day that it's signed, get a tattoo to commemorate
Get
it.
another tattoo.
We haven't been intimate in years, and now I think he's cheating on me.
Dump him.
I'm female and have a normal libido. My husband is male and has no libido. Or so I thought. We've been married for over 20 years and our bedroom has been passed away for about the last 5. My world kind of got rocked today. By the way, this comes from Deleted, and if you want us to make your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. My car is in the shop, so I was the bus driver today, using my husband's car to take the kids to school and drop him off at work. He's very fastidious about his car, so I cleaned out the back seat to make sure the kids hadn't left a mess back there when I saw something under the passenger seat. It's been a long time since I needed them, but I knew what it was immediately. A Trojan wiener wrapper. Bonus information, my husband got a vasectomy years ago. I dropped it like it burned my hand and sat down on the driveway for about half an hour.
That's so brutal.
I honestly thought I was going to faint if I stood up. I kept thinking about what I would have done if one of the kids had grabbed it. Stupid fear. They wouldn't have known what it is, or if he had been around when I found it. He's home now, the kids are going to bed soon, and I can't decide what to do. Most of me is furious at the cheating. It has to be cheating, right? And for all of the anguish and rejection I've endured night after night after night, while he apparently is sleeping with someone else, he travels occasionally for work, and he has myriad outside hobbies and interests that would give him ample opportunity to cheat. I feel like such a fool. I'm home cleaning and caring for the kids and pining for him, starving for spicy sleep, and he's out doing what? I'm afraid that if I say anything to him, he'll have a reasonable answer for why it's there. I'm giving some real consideration to getting into his accounts and maybe even following him to prove what? I don't really know, because finding that one little thing has already made me reevaluate every emotion and thought I've had about our relationship for the last few years. To be sure, I'm no angel. I'm a hypocrite. I've lusted after others and have done things I'm ashamed of during my marriage.
Like what?
But
lusting and physically cheating are two different things.
But I always felt justified because he wasn't sleeping with me. I just feel so sick and mad and exhausted. I wish I hadn't found it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here, and I absolutely welcome any advice from anyone with insight. We have an update.
Oh man. I mean, I would love to know what you did.
To me, it sounds like she cheated. And she's like, it's fine because he wasn't giving me spicy sleep. But now that he's cheating, I'm mad about it. And it's like, girl, what?
I'm wondering if she's like kind of overthinking what she, like things that she did to be like, oh, well, like, you know, like I'm not an angel either. Because either my kind of two thoughts are either she did cheat, which in that case, it's like, okay, you're a hypocrite. Or the second one is that she like had a crush on someone and is equating the two.
The line that throws me off is, but I've always felt justified because he wasn't sleeping with me.
Yeah. It doesn't sound great.
You worry me with that one. To the surprise of exactly no one, my LL husband is probably cheating on me. I haven't confronted him yet, but I imagine I will soon. I don't have a smoking pew-pew, but I don't really need one at this point. After all, circumstantial evidence is evidence, right? Here's how and what I found out. I started to really pay attention to his text and phone usage and noticed that he would text someone right before he plugged his phone in at night to go to bed. And he always sent a few texts first thing in the morning. I asked, and he told me it was just work. As I thought about it, I kind of convinced myself that whomever he was texting at those times must be the person he wanted the wiener wrapper for. So when the opportunity arose, I cracked open his phone. Funny side note, the password to his iPhone is our anniversary. I watched him send those texts for about a week before I violated his privacy and looked. When I finally snooped, though, there were no texts sent out or received at those times. It took me a few minutes to realize that he was sending and receiving messages that he was then deleting. He has lots and lots of other text messages saved going back a year or so. Giant red flag. Sorry, this is kind of choppy. I don't really feel like writing, but y'all have been so nice and I want to share. So then I started watching his location on the Find Friends app, which we all have on our phones in case we lose them. I watched obsessively for a few weeks, but never saw him go anywhere out of the ordinary. Here's what finally happened. We have a routine in the evening where I go to our small neighborhood gym after the kids are tucked in, and then when I get home, he goes. That way, one of us is always here. There's really no need for that anymore, since one of ours is now old enough to babysit and drive, but we're just still in that habit. One night, I got back from the gym and he left, and I just got to wondering if he could be flirting with someone up there. Yes, I realize that sounds creepy and obsessive, so without telling him I was coming, I drove over. His car was there, but he was nowhere to be found. The gym is tiny and it was empty. I checked and his phone was still showing he was there. There's a yogurt shop across the street and I thought he might have just gone over there and his phone just looked like it was still at the gym. I drove over and looked, but he was nowhere to be found. I decided to sit and wait and watch his car. I felt like a creep and a stalker, and I was already feeling disgusted with myself for checking up on him. That was my mindset when I saw a car pull up next to his. I saw him hop out and wave and get in his car and drive away. Although I was too far away to see who was driving the car, I definitely recognized it as the car of someone we know well.
No.
She's the wife of one of my coworkers.
No. Yikes. Yeah, so clearly what's happened here is that he drives the car to the gym, leaves his phone in the car, and then she picks him up.
We have a lot of social contact with them and have even been on family vacations and gone camping together.
Well, you know why they're, got so close then.
She's a friend of mine.
Devastating.
No. Because I know you're wondering, I'll admit that she is very, very cute. She's also about 10 years younger than us.
No.
If he is sleeping with her husband, whom I adore, is going to be crushed. I love him dearly, not that way, which complicates the whole situation so much. As he drove away, his phone showed up that it was moving, so it sure looks like he purposely left his phone in the car so that I would think he was at the gym. Oh, I asked him that night how the gym was. He said it was crowded and had some story about not being able to get on the machine he wanted. Just another lie. That place was a ghost town. He had ample opportunity to tell me that he and Sandy ran into each other and that she needed help with something or whatever the story could be, but he didn't. Just another lie. So that's where I am today. I still haven't said anything. I'm just trying to figure out what the future is going to look like for me and my kids. I don't think he'll be part of that future. Not so much for the cheating, which I can understand, but for the thousands of rejections and apparently lies over the years. Have you ever been hurt so badly that you just feel hollow? That's where I am now, just empty and charred and emotionless. A few more things worth mentioning. After my last post, the one where I described my anguish at finding a wiener wrapper in my husband's car, I got a handful of messages from guys wanting to have spicy sleep with me. Really? Really? The messages ranged from pathetic to hilariously pathetic, but none of them led to spicy sleep with me. Also, consider this, men. I'm obviously pretty undesirable and broken if the man who married me and who has previously done all kinds of fun, kinky stuff with me, and who sleeps next to me every night, won't touch me. You can probably do better, and you should try. Also, I got some hateful messages that tell me I got what I deserved because I admitted that I have done things during my marriage that I'm not proud of. What I was talking about was cyber spicy sleep with men and women, and never the same person more than once.
Okay, so you cheated.
You know it's never bad. Listening to full episodes with stories just like this. To go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, search up OK Storytime. I've never had anything close to an emotional or physical affair with anyone.
Liar!
I haven't been with anyone physically beside my husband for over 2 decades, and I only sought out cyber spicy sleep partners after several years of no spicy sleep with him. Is that cheating? Yes.
Yes.
Probably, but in my admittedly gradually changing hierarchy of sins, my sins seem smaller. Many of you thought I shouldn't snoop on him, and many of you thought I should. I only decided to check his phone for texts because I had a specific suspicion about them. I feel like I can justify that. I really can't justify following up on his location by his phone, however. I'm not sorry that I did. So, I violated his trust to find out that he is very probably violating mine. There are definitely no winners here. That's it! That's the end of that story.
Okay. Wow. Dang, man.
I don't even know what advice you want.
Yeah.
Tell your husband I've been cheating on you and apparently you've been cheated on me. Should we just go our separate ways now?
Peace out.
Bye.
Peace
or are we just
out.
going to keep living in this marriage that you seem miserable in and that apparently
And that OP
you're
is
mad at your
definitely
husband?
miserable in.
That's what I meant. That OP's miserable.
Oh, yeah, but they're both miserable in it. Leave. My ex cheated on me. Now she can't accept that I got engaged.
I think she really has a choice in that.
My ex and I met in our mid-20s through a mutual friend at a barbecue. She seemed almost too good to be true. Incredibly beautiful, but shy and introverted. We took our time getting to know each other before things became serious. When we got engaged a year later, I bought us a house with inheritance from my late uncle. By the way, this comes from Crushed Survivor 123, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you guys would do in the comments. Things were going great, and I suggested we plant a peach tree to signify new beginnings, which she loved. We were married not long after, and it was amazing. We had normal ups and downs, but she always made it a point to never go to bed upset with each other. Later, I was promoted, which meant more pay, but also more travel. I noticed she had been getting down more and wasn't being as intimate. She kept her phone close and stopped addressing things that upset her. I tried to talk to her, but she assured me she was fine and this was just a phase. Having no reason not to trust her, I let it go. She would sometimes stay overnight at her sister's place for girl time. The day I got that phone call was when she was supposed to be with her sister again. When I got home, I found out the devastating truth from her sister. My wife had been having an affair. Her ex had contacted her 5 months ago doing some redemption thing where he apologizes to people he's wronged to clear his karma. They began talking, then he convinced her to meet for coffee to show he was a changed man, and it developed into an emotional affair. My wife approached her sister for advice, who told her to take things slow and get it out of her system, which led to a physical affair 3 months later. My sister-in-law even offered to cover for my wife. She was in tears, apologizing and saying she never thought it would go this far. Liar! I was numb. When I confronted my wife, she broke down and admitted everything. I spent the following months in zombie mode. There was individual counseling for her and marriage counseling for us at her family's urging. In counseling, she was forthcoming about how it happened and how she hated herself for causing me pain. She mentioned how guilty she felt and how she tried to end it but was too weak. She said only after learning she was pregnant did she realize any further contact was toxic. When she went to end things, he became angry and vindictive. But thankfully, nothing more serious happened. She became withdrawn and struggled with guilt and shame. And after our son was born, we got a paternity test, and he was mine. But the more time I spent with her, the more I realized I didn't hate my wife. I loathed her. I couldn't see the woman I married, but instead saw his leftovers each time I looked at her. I decided to leave because I was afraid I'd do something I regret. She begged me not to, and made the ridiculous offer of giving me a hall pass and letting me slap her if I wanted. I knew I had to get out. She was generous during the divorce, moved back with her parents, and signed a well-thought-out co-parenting plan. And 3 years later, I met my now fiancé by chance in a bookstore. We were discussing Egyptian mythology when this beautiful woman approached to correct my pronunciation of Egyptian gods and cities. I was impressed by her understanding and the fact that she's Egyptian herself. We exchanged numbers and eventually started dating. When I proposed to her in front of the peach tree I planted years ago. Okay, that's
The peach
romantic.
tree with your wife? With your ex-wife?
She ran into the house and came out with the ring as well. She was planning to propose herself because she was madly in love with me. It all worked out. My son told his mother what happened because he was present. My ex showed up that night in the rain, yelling about how could I do this? How could I propose in front of our tree? And that this isn't the end of us. I'm completely exhausted. I cannot go no contact because she's the mother of my child. But she's basically pestering me and my fiance. How do I convince her to move on without getting a restraining order? Edit, something that still bothers me is how she went back to someone from her past who had caused her so much pain. It's hard for me to understand why she would give him a chance to hurt her again. Edit 2, when my fiance presented me with the ring she was going to use to propose, it had an engraving to my pharaoh. I love this woman. And there are some comments. Just ignore her, block her everywhere you can. I mean, I guess you can't block her because you got a kid.
That's why you don't want the restraining order too, probably. Isn't there like a level below a restraining order? I know you're probably saying you don't want to get that either, but.
Yeah, I think like this comment, I'm going to read this comment because it seems good. Comment 1 says, gray rock strategy. Don't communicate about anything other than the son. Don't get sucked into another discussion. It's not your place to convince her of anything. I think that's probably the best strategy.
I think the issue is she showed up at the house.
And
how do you prevent that
at that point, you just have to be like, don't even answer the door. Yeah. Comment 2 says, hey man, congrats on the engagement. That took a different turn at the end there. My only advice is to not talk about your fiance to your ex. And put up a non-emotional front every time you see her. OP says, thank you, friend. And yes, I try by all means to not mention my fiance to my ex, even when she asks about her. At first, my ex was under the impression that I was trying to get even or something, and actually said she would wait until I came to my senses. But the engagement caused her to completely freak out and show up at my home in the night in the pouring rain. Her mother has even told me that she hardly speaks about anything other than the life we had and how losing me has ripped her soul apart. She shouldn't have cheated. Shouldn't have cheated then. Yeah. That's a pretty easy solution to that. That is the consequence of her actions. It is what it is. Now she has to live with a regret for the rest of her life. No amount of therapy will fix that. And there is an update, folks.
The great comment advice. Like, she's the one that cheated. She had an affair that she wanted to go through with. Ruined it herself.
Yeah, there's I think the gray rock method is probably the best thing to do. Maybe get her parents involved so they can kind of get a handle on her. But just keep trying to keep your distance as much as you can. My son absolutely loves the outdoors, so I offered my backyard for his birthday since we couldn't go to our usual spots due to the ongoing situation. He also requested that my ex sleep over. He wanted to imitate a scene from one of his adventure shows where both parents sit on either side of the child, roasting marshmallows around a campfire. I had no intention of denying my son's birthday wishes, but I couldn't have my ex sleep in the same tent as me and my son. That would be disrespectful to my fiance. And even though she said she understood, it was clear she wasn't okay with it. My ex took advantage of this, saying how much she was looking forward to spending the night with her 2 men and buying excessive camping equipment. She was trying to rub it in my fiance's face. I had to tell her to stop several times, and she only relented when I threatened to invite her sister. Since our divorce, my ex has had a burning hatred for her sister. She acknowledges her role in destroying our marriage, but blames her sister for encouraging the affair. Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you're really throwing the blame off yourself there. It's gotten so bad that she refuses to let her sisters spend significant time with our son, which caused my ex-sister-in-law severe depression. A Redditor suggested I purchase a multi-room tent so my fiance could be included. I immediately went out to get one. My ex wasn't happy about it, but was glad to be under the same roof as me. During the birthday celebration, my son was on cloud 9. He ran around pretending to be an explorer discovering new land. When evening came, I made the fire and my ex provided marshmallows. He excitedly sat between us, roasting his marshmallow. What I didn't expect was that after we took pictures and made s'mores, he handed my fiance a stick and marshmallow and sat next to her to make his second s'more. It's a mystery how something this pure could come from the mess that was my relationship with my ex. By the way, you know it's not a mystery? The fact that you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
That son is probably adorable and really just like, he's out here sitting, he's like handing stuff to the fiance too.
He's like, do you want a
marshmallow
s'more
with me now?
Here you go. It's
like,
time for s'more. Yeah, that's really sweet.
And I'm glad he got the wholesome birthday that he wanted, despite
Yeah,
all of
despite
that
all this, like,
craziness.
drama that's going
Yeah.
on with his parents.
You guys are at least doing the
Co-parenting
kid co-parenting right.
My ex asked for a moment of my time. We stepped into the kitchen and she apologized for her behavior the day I proposed, but not for her actions afterward. She told me she still sees me as her husband in her mind, so the thought of me giving my heart to another terrified her. She said she never wanted to cause me pain and would give anything to undo her mistakes. She mentioned how happy she was when the paternity test showed I was the father, because she thought it was a new beginning and that our son was proof of our love. I thanked her for sharing, but told her I was happy with where I was in life and hoped she would find someone to make her happy as well. She said she meant what she told me on our divorce day and will wait for me. I left the kitchen exhausted because nothing I said got through to her. We called it a night with my fiancé and I sleeping in one room with a tent and my ex with my son in another. All in all, a good birthday for my son, but not a good night for me. And that is the end of that story.
Hey, well, I mean, yeah, that still doesn't sound great, but maybe slightly on the better path somehow.
Yeah, hopefully you guys
I'm not
are,
like
you
that
know.
wasn't great, but she didn't try anything.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, that's something. But that is the end of the story and the end of this episode. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you
And see you tomorrow.